In his essay Defining the Postmodern, Lyotard highlights certain issues regarding the term postmodern. Rather than seeking to conclude the debate, his intention is to initiate and nurture it, steering clear of specific confusions and ambiguities wherever possible, thus enabling its organic development. The term postmodern brings up several debates, and Lyotard discusses three of them. First, there is a debate between postmodernism and modernism, especially in architecture from 1910 to 1945. Some say there is a clear, for example, Paolo Portoghese talks about a shift away from traditional geometric styles like those in De Stigl. Another architect, Vittorio Grigotti, thinks the main difference is that postmodern architecture does not focus on big societal changes anymore. Instead, it works on smaller scale projects and does not aim to completely redesign everything. This opens up new possibilities for architecture. In this perspective, there is no longer a grand vision of progress and freedom for postmodern people, including architects. The absence of this idea explains the unique style of postmodern architecture, which involves mixing elements from different styles rather than focusing on environmental considerations. Regarding the term postmodernist, the post simply indicates a shift from one period to another, like turning a page. It is worth noting that this idea of chronological progression is a modern concept rooted in Christianity, Cartesianism, and Jacobianism. But instead of truly breaking away from the past, we seem to just repeat or ignore it rather than move on it. To put it simply, using elements from past architectures in new designs is like how Freud described using memories in dreams. This repetition can be seen in contemporary art trends like trans avant-gardism and neo-expressionism. The second point, another postmodern is understood is as a decline in the belief in progress that marked the past 2 centuries. This belief was rooted in the idea that advancements in arts, technology, knowledge, and freedom would benefit humanity as a whole. While there were debates over who exactly would benefit from progress, whether it be the poor, workers, or the less educated, everyone agreed that progress was essential for human liberation. After 2 centuries, we have become more aware of signs suggesting the opposite of progress, economic and political liberalism, as well as various forms of Marxism, are not free from suspicion of crimes against humanity during the past 2 centuries. We can point to specific events like Auschwitz to highlight the failure of past ideologies to truly liberate mankind. This realization has left a sense of sadness in our time. We may react with sorrow or even seek utopias, but we struggle to find a positive direction forward. The advancement of technology and science often seems to create more problems than it solves. It is not really progress in the traditional sense. Instead, it seems to happen on its own without regard for human needs and often leaves us feeling unstable both mentally and physically. It is like humanity is constantly chasing after new things without fully understanding why or what the purpose is. We are caught up in a world where everything is becoming more complex. Our desire for security, identity, and happiness seems irrelevant compared to the demand to make things more complicated, to remember and synthesize every detail, and to constantly change scale. We are like Gulliver in a world where it fit in. So the idea of simplicity now seems primitive in comparison. Lyotard considers the division of humanity in two groups, one dealing with the challenges of complexity and the other focused on basic survival. This division is a significant aspect of the failure of the modern project, which was supposed to benefit all of humanity. Moving on to the third argument, postmodernity also relates to how we express our thoughts in various fields like art, literature, philosophy, and politics. In the art world, there is a sense that the era of avant-gardism is over, and there is a tendency to mock it as outdated. Lyotard believes it is important to understand that avant-garde movements were actually serious investigations into the assumptions of modernity. To grasp the work of artists like Manet, Duchamp, or Bennett Newman, we should see it as a process of psychoanalytic therapy. Just as a patient explores past experiences to understand their current issues, these artists were examining and reworking the ideas of modernity. If we neglect this responsibility, we risk repeating the same problems and conflicts of modernity without making any progress. So, in the context of modernity, the term post does not mean going back in time, but rather analyzing, remembering, and reflecting on the